What is age-related macular degeneration, and what are the major forms of the disease?
Age-related macular degeneration is one of the most important diseases in ophthalmology, affecting almost 200 million people around the world. The major forms of age-related macular degeneration are dry and wet forms, and patients will progress if they're going to develop wet age-related macular degeneration from dry forms at an earlier stage.
What major unmet medical need is Macregen targeting initially with Mitia?
Macregen is targeting the population of patients that have dry forms of AMD initially, starting from forms including intermediate and geographic atrophic, and subsequently, which we'll talk about later, will also be important in utilizing this drug in conjunction with other medicines used in wet AMD.
Why does Macregen believe Mitia has great potential for the treatment of one or more forms of AMD?
AMD is now known to be caused by the accumulation of lipids or fats in specific regions in the back of the eye, and with that accumulation of those lipids, that leads to a progressive disease which ultimately causes severe disease up to and including blindness. And we're excited about Mitia because it has the potential to remove the major lipids which accumulate in one or more of these key areas in the back of the eye.
Describe the important results in human relevant animal studies where Mitia demonstrated efficacy.
So the most important findings in the animal studies, which I'll talk about first, were observed in the aged monkeys, the most important model of human AMD. The most important findings involved in the specific regions where accumulation of these fats or lipid deposits occur is what's called Bruch's membrane. In and around Bruch's membrane, the accumulation of these lipids leads to a progressive change in the structure of Bruch's membrane and associated tissues, which leads ultimately to progression of the disease, increased severity, up to and including blindness. In addition, what was also observed, which is extremely important, is associated with these findings of reduced lipids, removal of these lipids, causing the Bruch's membrane thickness to go back to its normal state, which is critically important. And thirdly, and equally importantly, is the finding that the drug itself caused a significant reduction in the state of inflammation in these tissues. So all of those factors contribute to the beneficial effects of the drug.
Explain what steps Macregen must complete prior to initiating the first human phase 1AB clinical trial for Mitia.
To be permitted to start the first phase 1 clinical trial for Mitia, we must complete all of the studies that are required to get permission from the FDA in the United States to start that trial. That includes the manufacturing of the drug according to good manufacturing practices, the production of large amounts of this drug so that we can complete the regulatory requirements in the area of toxicology, drug metabolism, and other associated areas to permit us to make the drug, which will be used in the clinical trials, and then also to describe all of the steps that we will follow during the clinical development phase.
Summarize your experience discovering, developing, or commercializing important medicines that have been approved for use.
I've been fortunate in my career to have been involved in the discovery, the development, commercialization, or marketing of 23 important medicines that all were very important in medicine across a range of important medical diseases with high unmet medical need. In many of those cases, they were extremely successful, both in terms of their medical impact as well as their commercial opportunities. When it comes to looking at what Mitia's potential will be for patients, for physicians, for Macregen, we believe that if Mitia is as successful in patients as we observed results in animal species, including the aged monkey and in the mouse model, we are hoping it will be the first major breakthrough and successful treatment for dry forms of AMD, including intermediate as well as geographic atrophic forms.
Explain the potential benefits of Mitia to patients and society.
The potential benefits of Mitia to patients, first of all, is 200 million patients around the world suffer from AMD. A significant portion of patients can develop blindness during their lifetime. The benefit of Mitia to those patients is we may have an opportunity for the first time to be able to arrest the progression, arrest the severity of the disease. If Mitia is as successful as we hope it will be, it has the potential to be extremely important for patients, first of all. In terms of the impact on society and healthcare, the burden of age-related macular degeneration is enormous on patients, on caregivers, on healthcare costs, and on society. And so we look forward to the opportunity to have a major impact there. If we are as successful as we'd like to be, needless to say, this should be a huge commercial opportunity as well.